Hello and welcome back to Design Gaming. Today's video is a beginner's guide. Blah, word failed me there. So, beginner's guide of this Armored Warfare. Obviously it is in beta, so things may change after I've shown it, but just trying to get people in, help people in the beta. Now that it's an open beta, more people will be playing it. So, what is, for those of you who aren't aware, maybe you just see my World of Tanks video, Armored Warfare is an arcade tank game, much like World of Tanks. Controls are the exact same. WASD to move, mouse to look around, shoot, all that stuff. And many of the mechanics are the same. You have a crew, although that is a little different. I will go into that later, as well as ammo. You have your consumables, which are pretty much the same. You have your medkit, repair kit, all that stuff. I'll explain this fourth consumable slot later, because that goes under this one, but yeah. And you still have your credits, your gold, and your premium XP, all that good stuff. So may as well go with the gold economy first, just to state the difference. And what I like the most about Armored Warfare over World of Tanks is the only things you can use gold for are to convert credits, XP, by premium time, and buying premium vehicles like the Abbott here, which is premium vehicle costs. Whoops, wrong button. Dealer system button I'm going for. Doesn't even say how much it costs now that I have the thing unlocked. Probably not. Oh yeah, no. So, but they're not that expensive, relatively, and let me just double check the gold prices. You get 1100 gold for €5, 1600 for 7, etc., etc. So, prices seem pretty reasonable. Conversion ratios are vastly better than World of Tanks. So, for converting XP in World of Tanks, it's 1 to 25. Here's 1 to 125. Converting credits, 1 to 400 in World of Tanks. Here, 1 to 1600. So, they have significantly increased the amount of gold and, free XP and money you get per gold, which I like. In addition, ammo is more of the War Thunder unlocked on the tank itself, not the... why am I looking at a premium if I'm going to explain that? Silly me. Unlocked on the tank itself, not via buying it just straight... Well, you still have to buy it, but there's no, gold ammo. So, let's just jump into the dealer system, which is probably one of the biggest departures from World of Tanks, in that it doesn't have a tech tree. It's the same way, you don't have... The same way World of Tanks has, so you don't have a tier 1 to 10. You might only have a 3 to 8. Depends. Obviously, branches will probably expand as time goes. So let me just... So, as you can see, you have a tier 1, the M113 and the PT76, which branch off into the the Patent 48 and the Lab for the 113, and the T54 and the Bulldog for the PT. You will note that there is a gap. They're in their own separate box. These are your standard tanks. Everything else has to be unlocked separately. How do you do that? Well, say you want to go the American tanks. To do that, you have to get within 150 meters and do... Well, you have to do 8,300 damage within 150 meters with one of her vehicles, so one of these three. Easy enough, maybe? This one you have to get 50%. You have to do 7,000 damage over 50... Well, you're at 50% health. And so on and so on. These require you to have 50 battles with Sophie's vehicles, and this is 50 battles with Shishkin, but other than that, pretty much the same. After that, you get a tank, you go here, you get your upgrades. This is proven status, which means once you have that, you have everything unlocked. All of this unlocked, you get to here. The next step is just to get to the next tank, basically, and once you hit here, you have Renowned, which is basically elite from World of Tanks, which means you get to free XP that thing. So, I apparently have 8,000 unspent vehicle reputation. That's interesting. But yes, and then you go down the branches, and I'm going to use the OF40 as an example for the upgrade system. So, as you see, you have ammo types, many ammos. This comes stock with a HE and a AP shell, APDS. If you want to be fancy, you have all these acronyms, but just note, blue AP, yellow HE, red heat. That's all you need to know. So, on any given gun, you will have several levels of ammo, depending on the gun and the tier. So for this one, you only have a level 2 AP, and the star denotes that this is in fact the best AP available to that gun. That's what the star means. It's the best of that type. So yellow star means best HE, red means best heat, etc. So here we have 3 levels of heat, with this obviously being the best. Straight upgrades, no dilly-dallying around. Oh, that's why I don't have that. Whoops. And then you have stuff like retrofits. These are just once you get proven. You can get these to get some more money, and upgrades, retrofits, which are kind of like the modules, not the modules, I keep forgetting the word for it, like the gun laying drive and all of those in World of Tanks, except you have to unlock them, and they're generally cheaper. So here's your retrofit system. Quite simple. You have various ones that give benefits, like internal hull reinforcement, just gives you more HP. This will give you HP and prevents your crew from taking too much, get higher crew saves, because I think they roll on a save system, not a raw damage system. This, for example, gives both damage and accuracy, whereas this gives aim time, just raw damage, normalization, etc., etc. And to unlock more of these, you just have to go, for example, if you want Propellant Mark III, you have to go and get the T92 proven. This one you have to get the Leopard 2, which I believe is actually, when I say the Leopard 2, I do believe they mean the 2A5, which I'm working towards right now. Yes. And then probably, oh no, Leopard 2, actual Leopard 2, I forget that's a thing. Ammo then, you have your list here. I've set to best available, but this will be what it looks like when you have all of it unlocked. You can condense it to the best available, which is the ones with stars. I like it. This UI is much cleaner. It shows you the damage and pen straight up, so you don't have to worry. Damage and pen again. Your retrofits, as I spoke. Consumables, pretty much the same as World of Tanks. You have your repair kit. You have a spare parts, which is a repair kit, a large repair kit basically. Large med kit, auto fire extinguisher. All this costs credits, not gold, which is, these cost credits. Just you can't buy them for gold. You'd have to convert money that way. You have your passive stuff like speed, engine boosts and stuff, and you have your mid-tier or your maintenance kits, which are PvE consumables only, and you can use them. You get 20% of your hit points back and full load of ammo. So obviously, yes, the game has a PvE mode. PvP is standard, same as World of Tanks, standard and encounter. As far as I'm aware, they do not have assault yet. That might change in the future. Crew, this is pretty much the same as in World of Tanks. The commander is a little bit different in that he can be switched to any vehicle. He can be on any vehicle at any given time. So I have this guy on most of my tanks, especially the elites, because 10% increased reputation or XP gain is massive. Oops, that's the wrong button. So that's a good thing to have. Before I talk more about this stuff, which is kind of irrelevant, I do have to give a mention to the damage system, which is quite a bit different than World of Tanks and same at the same time. This game focuses a lot more heavily on ammo selection than just raw penetration in World of Tanks. So, say for example the OF40 has steel armor. Turret hull modifiers, all the modifiers are... I do apologize, I do have a bit of a cold. The modifiers on the hull and turret armor are 1. So, it does the exact stated damage when it penetrates. That's the exact penetration you need to penetrate. 200 millimeters all around, 200 turret, 70 in the hull, such things. Obviously, sloping will come into effect, and I thought I took that into account, but apparently not. Obviously, that'll have to say, obviously, this turret is a lot more bouncy. This thing is very good hold down. Now, this thing, the MBT-70, which is an ugly I think it was it never went into production. This is basically a German-American tank. Ugly thing, really, with a big-ass gun. So this thing has much different, because it's got layered steel composites. So as you see, it's got different modifiers. Well, what does this mean? Well, if you have it set to AP, it's pretty much just stated numbers. Well, sloping and stuff, the modifier included, so instead of 252 on the hull, you get 378 and 375 on the turret, because there's a 2mm difference. HE same, but once you hit the shape charged, Ooh, there's where things start to change. Now you need over 630 millimeters to penetrate the hull. 625 to penetrate the turret. And that is because composites were designed specifically to counter heat shells, or shaped charges as they're called. So, just bear that in mind. Tanks can also get what's known as explosive reactive armor, which is a set of bricks that go on the outside. I'm sure many of you know what this is, but for those who don't, explosive reactive armor is just a set of bricks that goes on the side of a tank. You can also get meshes, I know. I believe the Brits get those. Not 100% sure, but that basically reduced the... Well, explosive reactive armor completely and utterly negates heat shells, because it basically explodes against the stream of the shaped charge, thus counteracting it. So if somebody has ERA and composites, well, fire AP. And I think that's going to be a bigger dynamic for the good versus great players in this game, is ammo choice and knowledge of what armor type a tank has. So if you know a tank has composite, just fire AP at the damn thing. You're not going to get through the front of this thing with heat anytime. Not like in World of Tanks where heat is, you know, OP, well, ridiculously penetrating compared to standard AP. So just thoughts to bear in mind. As I said, gameplay in PvP is the same as World of Tanks, 15 versus 15 as far as I remember. And, you know, either capture or kill everything. Pretty much par for the course. Spotting system, very similar. I do have to talk about the fact that all tanks have... I don't think they show it anywhere, do they? Oh, yes. Special ability. So, light and recon vehicles, I know have special abilities. I don't know about tank destroyers. So they get a damage bonus. Tank destroyers get a damage bonus at optimal range. Lights get a boost, which means they go a shitload faster. And these guys, the recon vehicles, which I will explain in a second the difference between the vehicles, or how to spot them, has a designator, which doesn't specifically state what it is, but it, as far as I can tell, they do take more damage. So, if we look here, just quickly, forgot to mention this. You have 4 classes of vehicles. You have your main battle tanks, which are the mediums, basically more akin to mediums in World of Tanks, mediums / heavy, somewhere in between there. These are your frontline guys. They tend to have lots of armor, big nasty guns. You have your tank destroyers, which in this case are wheeled, which is hilarious, and they drive very differently from a tank, obviously, because you can't neutral steer and all that. You can actually drift in them too, because there is a handbrake. And they are generally fast, thinly armored, very stealthy, and have very, very punchy guns. I mean, this thing alone is nasty. And I don't think they get them, do they? No, they just get guns, so... But if we go to, say, the recon vehicles, and I believe the XM800 does not get it, no. But the Swingfire does. The Swingfire gets a rocket launcher. The Fox gets a rocket launcher. You can get missiles in this game. And missiles hurt, but they also heat. So if an enemy has ERA or composite, again, you have the same problem of you have to find a way to hit them, or hit around that problem. So that's adds another dynamic to the thing. Artillery is another thing I should probably mention, because artillery and missiles both have in common that when they're being fired towards you, or you're being locked by missiling in that case, you get a warning saying missile. You'll get a little yellow thing showing a missile. You'll also get a little yellow thing showing an artillery shell, and the commander will yell out incoming artillery. I think it's the commander. Doesn't really matter in the end, does it? Somebody in your crew calls out that incoming artillery. And artillery don't do as much damage in this. Let's go back to the stats. I mean, this tier 3 Abbott only does 135 damage. Actually, where's my tier 4 already? There's my Guastica. So this thing does 207 damage. That's as much as this thing's ever gonna do. Why? Because they wanted the damage to be more on par with a main battle tank. So if you compare it to the OF, it's not that different. It's 70 damage. That's not a big deal. So you're thinking, okay, well, they must suck then. No, because they have a ridiculously good reload time, and the accuracy on artillery in this game is astonishing. I mean, the spread is 13 degrees, apparently? I don't know how the spread works in this, but basically these aren't much off a heavy tank, or main battle tank, in that basically fully aimed, you'll cover a tank, and that's about it. So these things are very good and very accurate, and very fast aim times of about 3 seconds on this one, and the Abbott has 4. This is precision artillery, so. And their job is to be nuisances more than to be damage dealers, as they are in World of Tanks. So you might not do 200 damage every time, but you might do 100, you might do 30. But you'll do a shitload of module damage. And that's why on all artillery I will get the, I think it's explosive shells perk? Or is it? I think no one of my crew members has it. Yes, improve module damage by 20%. You will damage so many modules. And it's great because you'll see exactly what you've damaged every time you hit someone. The game has a very good system. It has a log that shows what you've spotted. You can turn on a... Actually, I can show you that one. Just as a quick digression, you have lots of stuff. You can hide everything, basically. Hit details, so you can show what you've hit, how many shots you've fired at them, how much damage you've done, and what's hit you and how much damage you've taken. So that's nice. The main well, I think the thing that's going to make artillery, you know, an artillery player good or not is counter battery. Because every time you fire, when the enemy have artillery, he will get a ping on his map where you are. And this is especially noticeable when you're driving the Abbott because it has a 3-round loader, autoloader, sorry. And after the 3rd round, you will know exactly where you are on the map. It'll be a circle about, like, where your tank is. And he can see you the second you fire. So basically, you have to shoot and scoot. Now, these things do have turrets. That makes the life a lot easier in that regard. It's kind of slow turrets, but turrets nonetheless. And so yeah, you have to always be on the move, or you will get hit by enemy artillery if he's any competent. And in fact, that is one of the things I tend to do when I play these things, is I counter first. I will counter unless I know they're too focused on something, then I will go after enemies. So that's something to bear in mind, and obviously you do get your warnings, as I said, when you're being fired upon. They also have secondary shells, which in this case are smoke shells. I haven't unlocked them yet on this one because I just got it recently, and they basically can provide concealment. So they break, you know, line of sight, meaning you lose spots on people. So that's useful, but again, you get pinged when you're pinging whenever you fire this thing. So it's things to bear in mind. Other than that, so you have your, as I said, your garage upgrade system. I've explained all of that. You have a base, which basically just gives bonuses. So commander XP, crew XP, free XP. Costs, repair costs. I like the recon post. Premium time costs, so cheaper premium time. Obviously, that's not a problem for me because I got a shitload because I ordered one of the founder packs. But digression. So you get 100 raw materials a day to spend on whatever. So you have your airport. It gives you, you know, various benefits. This one's pretty good too. You get 1% currency, so 1% more money. I'm gonna upgrade that. Other than that, PvE is pretty simple. You have your hard, easy, normal hard, medium hard, and they scale the difficulty of the enemies up, and objectives are pretty much the same. It's a bit repetitive at the moment, but then the game is in beta, so they don't have all the maps available yet. I imagine there will be many more coming soon, TM. So, for those who want to just practice or just, you know, learn a tank, PvE is a great way. You have easier enemies, and if we look at the DOS here, we can compare. So I have a 53% win ratio so far in PvP, but in PvE, I've lost 1 game out of 40. It's just a whole different game. I mean, damage caused 144,000 in 40 games. I've done 79,000 in 75 games, so put things into perspective. It is a lot easier in this than it is in World of Tanks to get XP. Obviously, PvP gives a lot more rewards, XP and credit-wise, and the base modifiers seem to be higher. I should probably touch upon the upgrade costs, which, well, they get increasingly more expensive, and I like that each tier is uniform. They all cost the exact same. So, to get the tier 3s, 120, 480, 1.9, 4, 6, 8. We obviously don't know 9 and 10 yet, but they're probably going to be ridiculous. Now, it does take time, but, I mean, it is a free-to-play game. Of course, it's going to be grindy. So for example, to get to this Leopard A2, you need 100. To AV, you need 135. Get the Leopard to tier 7, you need 270. And I'm pretty sure, although I haven't really looked into it. Yeah, so it's the exact same cost across the board, both XP and credit-wise. Which I like, but I mean, some of the numbers probably need tweaking still. I do find at times it can be a bit grindy, but then again, I have the same problem with World of Tanks, and here I am 10,000 battles later, so can't really say much. Anyway, I think that's about it. If there's anything I missed, do leave a comment in the comments below. Please remember to like, favorite, and subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff. And I will see y'all next time.